Hello everybody, welcome back. So in this one we're going to go over doing the interior, or what I've done to the interior, and looking over sort of what PE parts are fitted and bits and pieces I've done. So as you can see, some of the interior, or most of the interior, is already painted up now. This is the second version. The first one I painted up a graphite grey with the anthracite for the seats. Thought it looked alright out of the car, but once I offered it up to the car with the body colour, it didn't really work. I'll pop a little picture down so you can see. I spoke to a couple of people on Instagram and they sort of went, yeah, it looks a bit wrong, looks a bit plasticky. So that got stripped and then repainted in black, and I've kept the anthracite because I like that colour for the seats. Gone with two different blacks for the interior. I've gone with a Firescale primer black, which the dash is done in. So that's just straight primer, and then masked off and sprayed the anthracite as the little strips. They should be carbon fibre, but because I didn't want to do the carbon fibre, just done them in anthracite just as a little sort of eye catcher, something different. And then there's a couple of parts which are Mr. Hobby surface of 1500. So the centre console is 1500. I find there's a little plate in the back here. That's the 1500 black. It's surprising, black primer, they have slightly different shades, so which is nice because it's a slight offset between the Firescale and the Mr. Hobby, so it's just something to catch the eye. So yeah, dash was done in the black, door cards was done in the Firescale black. Seats, I say this is anthracite. I'm going to use the kit decals for the cushions just to sort of add something to catch the eye. And then the headrest part around here, and then around the back of the seats. These were brush painted because the airbrush was playing up a little bit, so I'll just brush paint them semi-gloss black. So that's them done. Where else? We've got the little centre cushion, so that's in anthracite as well. Just a mix. Some of the others, so the door card, that's the Firescale primer. I'll just find the right bit, and then we'll do the details in the anthracite as well. So it's just something so it sort of catches the eye, something to look at. Roll cage, decided to go with the dark bronze to match the wheels, so that will sort of tie all that up together. And I think that's about it. So the rest is all sort of ready for decals now. Yeah, so we've got the stitching around the dash. I think there's some stitching on the seats, around the door cards, and then a few other sort of decals on the inside that need doing, and then the PE parts. So what I'll do is I'll get them done. I'll try and take some pictures as I'm doing them, and then we'll come back once they're all sort of decaled up. So I'll speak to you in a minute. Alright, so we're back with everything painted, decaled, detailed, and ready to go for sort of final assembly. So having a quick look over, as we said before, the interior was black and anthracite. So with the centre console, got the sort of the offset of the two colours. Ended up going with the Firescale primer black for majority of the interior. and then I say the anthracite as well. Gone with the red decal stitching, just add a little pop of colour to go with the red decals on the outside of the car. Dials, so the instrument sort of dials, they were done with the red decals, and then dropped a little bit of GX100 on there just to sort of act as a sort of a lens over the top. And what I did as well is I ended up painting sort of the instrument cluster in Mr. Surfacer 1500 black, just so it's a slightly different shade of black against the Firescale black primer. Steering wheel, so that was done in the anthracite, and then the centre parts were picked out with the new AK markers, so I used the silver on that, so it's got a nice sort of fine tip. So pick that out and then pick the gear stick out as well. That's sort of the centre console. Seats, anthracite, the red stitching, and I use the kit sort of cushion decals. They have got a bit of a shine at the moment. I'm trying to see if I've got any clear matte to knock that down a little bit. Yeah, I quite like the look of the seats. Look quite nice, the sort of the colour contrast and everything else. So that was the seats. The interior tub itself, so that was that's all Firescale primer black. And so a little sort of plate in there was done in the 1500 Mr. Hobby. So it's a slightly different shade, something to look at. Kit included a couple of PE mats, so they were glued down, PE pedals, and then also a little fire extinguisher and a little PE cradle for it. So that was made up, or painted and assembled. I ended up buying a display PE bender a while ago. I think I've only used it once, maybe twice now, but it's come in handy for that. So that was that. Door card, same again, black primer and then the anthracite with the red stitching. So just to give it a little bit of pop of colour against each other. The wheels, only thing left to do to them is just to drill out for the tyre valves. So the centre hubs are fitted and the little RS badge. There you go. Brakes. So we've gone with the red for the calipers, silver Porsche logo, and then it was carbon ceramic for the discs, and then a black for the centre bits. I'm going to drop a little bit of Tamiya black panel liner on there just to sort of pick out the details. So that's all that lot, and then just sort of picking through the rest. And so I started fitting some of the PE parts. So the sort of front scoops, the PEs. You need to put a clear lens on the top there. So I'll get that done. Little fan for the back. So that was picked out with the, if I can find it, gold AK play marker. So I'm enjoying these more at the moment. Got a really nice fine tip. So really good for little bits of detail. So we got that, and then that will sort of sit underneath. The PE work, so mainly most of the vents and the grills, what I did was the PE sheet, marked them out, cut out the ones that were going to be sprayed, and then ended up spraying them on the PE fret. They were sprayed a dark rubber, and then I'll just pick them off and fit them as needed. So yeah, that's that. Wing mirrors are now made up, sort of two parts together, and the PE mirrors are fitted. There are some sort of metallic ones to go on. We'll find them. They look slightly better than the PE ones, but they'll just go sort of straight on top. Headlights, probably going to use the pre-chromed parts. So put a couple of lenses on there, just add a little bit of a pop to it. I have painted the other ones, but I quite like the look of the pre-chrome ones. And then last but not least, so the rear bumper. So the PE's been fitted there. Exhaust pipes, they've gone in. They were done with the gunmetal AK marker. And then, as you can see with the number plate, normally number plates, if they're PE, I will do them in carbon ceramic. But normally they've got raised detail. As this one is etched in, decided to drop some red paint in and then sort of sand over the top just to leave the red. Just something a little bit different, a little bit eye-catching hopefully. So that's that lot. And then body wise, so body is now all polished up. Fitted a couple of little bits already. So down the front is PE grille, a little bit of the black work, same on the rear ends. But yeah, the colours proper coming out now. It's got a nice sort of purple to green shift. So I've got a little bit of work still in here. I've just got wheel wells to paint up, a couple of other sort of small details to pick out. But yeah, it's all coming on nicely. So what I'll do is, between now and everything being finished ready for final assembly, I'll pop up a few pictures of the progress and we'll be back in a minute. Right, so last little part, everything's sort of ready for final assembly now. Bodywork, the PE's been fitted, or the trim work's been fitted. I'm still playing around with getting the rear wing to sort of sit properly and stay in place. So the magnets are sort of doing their job to an extent. I still prefer the look without the wing, but I will try and get this to work where the wing will stay still, so it can be displayed with or without. Then the wing supports will need, they'll have black primer, they've missed the surface of black primer, and then it can be with or without, and plus it'll make it easy for transporting. So that's still a little bit of work in progress. But yeah, body wise, everything else is down. So it's all polished up, everything's all glued in, wheel wells are done, so that's ready to have everything else fitted. Interior, so that's all been glued in. I did have a little bit of an accident with the seats. I tried putting a little bit of matte over the seat cushions and it's reacted to the decals, unfortunately. So I'm hoping once I get the seat belts in, it will sort of hide most of that. But as I haven't had the perfect build yet, so a little mishap with one of them I'm not overly fussed about. A bit disappointed, but it is what it is. So interior, so centre console we went over before, so that's all done, glued in. All the doors have had, so the PE decals down. Wing mirrors, we ended up fitting the little metal decals, so it gives a nice bit of shine on the wing mirrors. Biggest problem I had was my own fault. I tested the wheels before I painted everything up, but unfortunately with the paint, so the front, yep, with the paint it sort of made the diameter of the inner lug and the inside diameter of the hub a little bit too tight. Ended up pushing the two together and it snagged because the tolerance was just a little bit too tight. As I tried to turn it to pull the wheel out, I ended up with one centre hub and the wheel sort of exploding. So I have got another wheel on its way. Kindly got someone printing me one off, so that should be with me soon, so I can get all that repainted and then we're back to 4 wheels. I did consider using the other set of wheels, but I prefer the look of these ones. So I say, lucky enough, I've got a friend to print them off, so they'll be with me soon. But yeah, other than that, everything's now ready for final assembly. So in the next part, it'll be a finished build and a look over. So thank you very much for watching this one. I will catch you all very soon.